individual as well, and the team looks polished and put together. It's frankly a shock.
Yeah, I mean, I from the limited amount I got to cover them as well during the Open RMR qualifiers, they did look pretty good. That was very early days though, so their T side had its moments where it would begin to kind of fall apart. But from what I can recall, Ancient was one of the maps that I seen them strive on then. So we'll see what they're able to do. As you were mentioning, the win for Endpoint over Navi, they were actually able to get a very dominant win on Ancient. So
Did
I
I
understand why, of course, they've gone with that choice here.
Did I misread those 1xbet odds, or are they massively in favor of Endpoint here on Ancient? They've had some good victories in Pro League. This has been their best map for sure. But I don't think it leans that heavy. Let's see how it goes. Clearly, the fans here excited for what Endpoint's going to show, but Mighty Max will not be able to show much in this pistol. He's already been collecting. Mezzi going to hold on to the tempo control there. And now things are going to become a little bit frisky on the site. Mezzi's got such a good angle to deny this bomb plant, but Caribbean will buy them space to maybe get the C4 down. They've lost Donut. They're all bunched up on the site proper. They have to shoot their way out of this. And actually, if they could battle back in towards CT spawn, there's an escape route. They could just leave. They could just leave. That's a huge kill, and they've realized the situation. They're headed towards B. They're going to completely reset the terms of this engagement, and they've got a man advantage with which to do it. What a recovery from Endpoint.
The Fasher's here a little bit quicker than I would imagine they're going to expect, but he can't quite deny the bomb plant and can't even manage to get that kill on Surreal. Puts himself back in behind the pillar nice and neatly. Is brought low, of course, at this point, but this 2-on-3 retake is going to need to be pretty swift. Fasher goes in before his teammate is really anywhere nearby to be found, so obviously at that point, no chance of a trade, and it's just Crims hoping that he could find a quick entry there to kick things off, but it's crucial waiting for him. It's going to be Endpoint who pick up the opening pistol, and well, for a while, it wasn't looking like it was going to be too possible when they were, as you were saying, just kind of crunched in on that A-bomb site, flanked out. They realized the weakness, they made the right decision, and while doing so, managed to hit some pretty nice shots as well, because sometimes it doesn't matter if you can't do that. So a strong start. We said this is their map choice. They've had convincing wins over Navi. They've a few other convincing wins in their history there as well. So it's understandable that they did come out with this map choice. We were more so puzzled by the choice of FNATIC, I think, in this series.
Yeah, that's going to be Overpass. There are a lot of really strong options maybe coming through here. So Overpass is a little bit of a curious pick. I'm going to be very interested to see what that actually looks like when we get into the server. And then as a decider, if we get to it, it'll be Vertigo, which does feel like pretty decent neutral territory for them. It's been weaker for Endpoint of late, but they used to play a lot of it. They certainly still do play a fair chunk of it. So I'm curious to see how that's going to look if we do get to a third. I just love the improvisation we got, the read and react from Endpoint in that pistol round. And now, we got an entry in towards B. They're not even going to chase it. They're not going to go fast into it. Very patient here for Endpoint. And part of this might be due to Nertz's position just now pushing into the red room. Getting a ton of space. So much information for the team. He can control rotations at this point. And with this calm through, if they pressure in the donut, there's just no one home. This will be a free and clear bomb site. There's really nothing Fnatic can do about this. Maybe they steal Nertz's gun, but that's even looking less than likely at this point. Maybe Kirby gets caught. Nope. Ooh, never mind. It is Nertz to go down.
Yeah, Galil, maybe 1 or 2 more kills can be found off the back of it. Otherwise, I don't think it'll matter too much. Saving would be nice, of course. Give them a few extra nades maybe, but they're going to be going in for this buy as early as they can here either way. I don't think he's going to be able to hang on to it. They're not expecting a player to have already crossed over, and well, with that, you do have 4 players left standing for Endpoint. So I think that round goes pretty much as well as they could hope for. Obviously, there was no investment from Fnatic, so they were hoping to keep it clean, but just dropping the 1 player in the end is something they can overcome pretty easily. 1 SMG retained, the rest of them going to have the straight-up AKs, and while it's not really a bonus round, of course, with it only being round 3, they do still have money left over on a few of their players. So at the very least, pressure could be kept on if they were to lose this one. A lot of Hamasses, though, for Fnatic. Yeah. They must have something in mind with this much utility.
Emphasis on it for Ancient. It does make some sense. Quite a bit, and I think this mid push is part of it. That necessitates a lot of nades if you're going to get Crims down here. With the newly opened window, there's so many potential risks. You have to secure cave control, and you have to have the utility in towards elbow to be able to take this space, but it is a ton of space. Look at how deep Fnatic are in here. They've got everything outside of B. They've got this crossfire setup now with Roy and Fasher. You've got Crims all the way down mid, so Endpoint are just stuck back. They've got plenty of time to reclaim this space, but they're going to have to clear everything. What they have done a great job of is holding on to their own nades. They've got almost their full util set. They just let Fnatic spend this early on. And now they'll sit back. Excuse me there, Dean. And try and fight back into the space. Swallowed
the nades for
a little bit of my own tongue on that one.
Oh, good, it happens. I think I've bit my tongue maybe once or twice while getting a little bit overwhelmed with what's going on, you know? As I said, the utility was there to try and flush them out of these close positions, and, well, it worked for initial damage. It works for them to eventually take back a couple of kills around the B side of things. And that's forced a response from FNATIC now. You can see Nikodo's going to push in on mid. I think looking maybe to try and flank it out towards B because they're already beginning to rotate Fasher over. So the call definitely being made that it seems like it's likely towards this A bomb site. Boost up. Fasher in the back lines. Get him right back into Nikodo's there to double set up the bait and switch. And while Kirby doesn't have the time to get this done anymore, to save AK, that's all he's going to be able to get out of this.
Another great read this time coming through from the FNATIC side, right? They were down in numbers, they were out of the utility, they had to make a little bit of a gamble read, and Mezzi calls over Fasher that gets set up nicely for it. You got the response. I think he even saw the shadow of the boosted up player, so he confirmed the extra bodies, and that works out very nicely for FNATIC to get on the board. Big round to take. This next one's going to be critical, though, right? Endpoint can still bring a fair amount of pressure. It's actually virtually a full buy, utility limited in the gun somewhat as well. And the CT economy is going to be on the brink. But if they can confirm this one for FNATIC, that's where you start to see these really meaty, ancient defensive halves come through. And once again, Endpoint are going to let that early utility play out here. They're going to sit back, try and get it to drain. And we saw this before. It whittles so much time off the clock when FNATIC can control these deep positions and deny any sort of map control on. That's a nice bunch of nades. They read Crim's spot from last time. This time they double nade it. Goodbye, Crims.
Even in the last round, he didn't get away unscathed. I think he was brought down to like 40, so I don't think it's going to be a position they'll be allowed to be playing too often. I'd imagine they'll keep putting the smoke and such down, but actually playing up forward behind it seems like it is going to be a bit risky with the way Endpoint are approaching, very cautiously in terms of the nades, and even doing the same again thing outside B here with the mollies going down, making sure that cross problem. And that was really the plan that FNATIC had in mind, preferably without losing a player, but just showing the aggression that they had in that previous round, even if they don't follow it up this time, keeps it in the mind of Endpoint, and as you can see, has them maybe overly cautious.
35 seconds and they've got no real info. Now they're clearing in the cave. Wonder if Asher's going to call over for the rotation. Rotations will be tricky. They will be slow because they don't have control of mid. But if Asher can drop the first body, maybe you just slow down this take. There's 20 seconds. They've got to go. They just don't have enough options here. Do Endpoint. Oh, no room, no margin for error. That bomb dropped. That could be it. They have to cross Asher's position. They know that. Had to get the clear. There's a lurk in towards the red room, but it's way too late, and it's going to get caught regardless. So the bomb will go down. They won't run out of time, but now onto the site, onto the retake. Roy finds one, sets up for the second, and Nikodoz is able to capitalize. Good return from FNATIC. Their play, their pressure play is doing a great job of slowing down Endpoint, and Endpoint, well, by the time they go for the actual site hit, there's just not a lot of margin for error.
Yeah, it was definitely risky because if Endpoint didn't take as much time as they did clearing out all the positions at that point, then you have very little utility left. You're in a 4-on-5 as the CTs yourselves. You don't have a lot of info, and you had initially taken a bit of a stack to stack a bit over towards A. So the fact that they called in the end the rotation to come back towards B just in time as well, everything works out perfectly, but it wasn't the easiest of rounds. The money's not quite there for a full buy though from Endpoint, but there should be a few pistols at the very least. Maybe a few nades behind that, and a chance to just keep on doing some damage, keep that economy low for FNATIC, and hopefully for their own sake come back alive in this next gun round. As you can see, this is Endpoint's map choice, overpass up next, and if needed Vertigo, but as we had mentioned before, Endpoint would prefer to get this done 2-0. In that case, they're only relying on the result of one other game to make playoffs. If they are to win 2-1, at that point, of course, they'd need Nip to beat Navi as well as Vitality beating Spirit. And, I mean, if they lose, of course, that's it pretty much done and dusted. Unfortunately, they'd be in 6th. So it's a win or nothing. Crims and Nikodoz cleaning up on mid against the Eco. And, well, they're easy enough kills, but still impressive to do it without taking a single point of damage. That's a it's a good way to show what you're capable of and just say, hey, first couple rounds, sure, they were shaky, but this is what's going to happen if you take us too lightly, I suppose.
I think that's just Krim's chance to finally give back what he's been getting, right?
True
He's
as
been
well.
getting wrecked towards mid in a tough spot for
Bit
a
of
couple of
confidence,
rounds
hopefully.
here. He's like, I get to shoot back.
Let alone shooting back.
There's nothing like just being naded before you actually get to shoot at anybody to really frustrate a CSGO player. He's going to go back into a similar spot, but you'll note he's not in the corner this time because he does not want to get double HE'd. Contact on the Crucial. That's an okay damage early on. Was outside of B main, but this time at least they've got control of Snake. They've got this control, and they're going to start to take in towards mid. This is much quicker, right? Still a minute 20 on the clock, and they've got the mid position, but look at the util. The difference is they have had to spend a lot more util. There's still not a ton coming through from the FNATIC side, and they're even dumping what little nades they have. Now, these early engagements are going to be huge, but this time Endpoint haven't gotten the early picks they're looking for. Oh no, Crims, don't get caught reloading. Quick switch in there. That's awkward timing. Nerds now with control of Donut puts major pressure on Amezi. This next kill is critical, and with Surreal finding it, now the A site is under major threat. Mezzi has to perform. He knows he's pressured from Donut. He knows they could be through spawn as well, though Fasher is theoretically watching that. Mezzi steps to the plate, and he hits a home run. Now the ball's back in Endpoint's court. They got to do something here, and they're losing bodies one after another. They had the pressure, they had the positioning, but they didn't have the kill on Mezzi, and that leaves Caribbean as lonesome.
Mezzi was just the hero of that round right there. Obviously, limited time so far with this exact 5-man, but in terms of statistics, Mezzi is one of the stronger performers, and well, Fasher is going to help them by closing it out there. Obviously, as I was saying, limited number of maps. I think they've got 18 or something together over the last game since they've come together.
slow it down. They know that's a ton of utility out from FNATIC. They know that's 2 bodies dropped from FNATIC. Now it's time to diagnose where the remainder sit. And at least for the moment, I don't have a ton of information. But with this foothold outside of B, they'll leave Mighty Max alone to try and work this to maybe find anyone getting a little bit adventurous. And it's going to be pressure in towards the A site where Nico Dawes waits with that big green gun. He's got responsibility for 2 spots. There's no one in, don't it? But of course, he cannot know that. So for Nico Dawes, a lot of this might come down to timing. Timing that gets a little bit easier as one pick gets picked up. What a shot from Surreal that keeps them in this. Into the 2v2, this bomb needs some move to be planted. Only 35 seconds, but both players are on the other side of the map, the other side of the globe, so they won't be able to contest this. C4 now down. Great spot for Endpoint. Oh. Fasher, first in. These audio cues are going to be heard by Surreal. He could go for the full flank around, but knows that that would be risky on the timing, so he'll come back out to check. That's a big first pick. Oh, Mezzi now, between a rock and a hard place. Caught in this crossfire. Mezzi might just have to give this one away. Tapping the bomb, still wants to contest for it. Time is getting short. They're not giving him anything. He's lost it on time now, looking for the damage, but that's not going to be available. A big round for Endpoint, their first gun round in a long time, and they convert.
Yeah, strong crossfire they were playing there to finish it off. Didn't quite break the economy by just winning out the 1 round, but considering it had been like 5 in a row there for FNATIC, the fact that taking the 1 is going to cost them pretty much everything they have built up, that is a good sign. Endpoint will have their chance if they can win out this round now as well. The very likely tie things up at 5-5 already at that point. So I think FNATIC realized that they don't want to let things get out of hand here as quickly as they possibly could. A little bit of a pause comes in, and as you can see, as I said, everything is being spent, but it gives them pretty much everything they could ask for as well. The up comes out on Nico Dawes. He'll be there to challenge Crucial now. In terms of nades, Crims is the only one slightly lacking, but he's actually yet to buy them. There you go. He'll get
many Molotovs right at the beginning of the round to try and take space. So much utility.
Endpoint they're playing really slow as well, mostly.
Yeah, they've been waiting it out. So then when the hit comes through, or the retake, you got it. This time it's a bit more of a contest. Nerds will take damage, but he's through. Nerds and Crims, this kill is going to determine so much. Meanwhile, Fasher, he's heard that tick. He's got that kill. He's got 1. He's got 2. And he's out. He's out. Oh, it's all been shut down. Crims even won the fight in mid, and boom. What a response from FNATIC.
Well, that was fast. The second spray, a nice little transfer over on the ramp. Honestly, thought Crucial was likely going to be able to catch him from that boost position. It's not too often that you expect someone to be peeking you up there, especially as you hear the steps coming through the door at the same time, because there was so much presence, but well handled and just an incredibly clean round considering the levels of aggression we've seen coming from FNATIC. The fact that they didn't even lose a player or have to trade or anything was ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, that's the best way they could have asked to bounce back. They get to stabilize their own economy a small bit. They absolutely destroy endpoints, and now they're up against some pistols in Kevlar. Mac 10 mixed in there with what is looking to be full focus over towards B. Fasher's going to be here. Has the help of Rye as well. And Molly nicely timed. One player did manage to beat him, make that 2. They don't beat the bullets of Rye's M4 as he sprays them down. The bomb dropped now under the possession as well of FNATIC, and well, a couple of kills may still come true, but I'm not expecting much more for Endpoint, and maybe those hopes were even too high.
Hopes dashed. The Ember of Opportunity has been snuffed. And Nico Dawes should have this last in a moment. Ooh, Deagle connection. Deagle connection. You want to peek back in, Nico Dawes? You want to take this fight? Feeling lucky today? No, but also there's not really anything to get from that. He's got a set of armor and a Deagle. The armor is valuable, for sure, but it's definitely not worth giving him the possibility of a gun. So FNATIC are going to be very content to sit back and stabilize their own economy. To be fair, is good. Okay, there's the pre-fire. Nico Dawes went back to his spot, and Nertz was ready for that one. So there is a casualty. They don't get out flawless. But Mezzi can retrieve the op, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still mid stages of the half, so these tiny bits of damage, they could accumulate. They could add up and perhaps allow for Endpoint to still bounce back towards 5 or 6 on the half time if they can start turning things around relatively soon. So while it may not have been immediate damage, and they do have the op, as you said, dropped back over and such, it does put a small dent in that economy. See whether FNATIC now can keep this up or not. As always, that early utility toss down around mid. This time, a lot less presence from Endpoint outside B, though, leaving only Kirby there. The rest of them grouped up looking like they might want to see if they can take this later mid control once the utility from FNATIC fades away. Crims has gotten very aggressive with it this time, though.
I will say also for Endpoint,
Fasher.
Strong T sides have been a huge piece of what's allowed them to contest their ancient maps. They've got a win over Spirit. They've got a win over FNATIC, or sorry, over Na'Vi. Those had 8 and 7 T side rounds. So need to put something together here just to give yourself a chance to really let that defense form. Smoke down late. Should hold on to the elbow position. Means that the smoke in towards the red room and towards the middle of the map. Not going to do much. But it'll be pressure on for Nicodas. He's playing way back in the tomb. Still going to come around. That's going to be Nerds. Boosted up over the smoke, but there is a trade. There is something in the second as well. Bomb. That's the bomb. Oh, no. The A players just don't matter. The bomb's made its way through, and now Crims knows he's looking back in towards Donut. Doesn't matter where he's looking if he can't execute. But Mezzi's got a tricky spot. There is still a player over towards B. There's potential for distraction or just Surreal winning a straight-up gunfight. Fasher needs to deliver. He's got one. He's got the second as well. Fasher is good for it. 15-4 to this point, and, well, going to add one more. What a game from Fasher so far here, Dean.
15-4 already. Well, we may even be yet to be a third of the way through the game if it can go the full way. Who knows? Obviously, Endpoint, they are having their stumbles here on the D side. Crucial at least to be able to save the op over. That's a small positive. They have the loss bonus going, so pretty much everyone can buy apart from Mighty Max, so I presume they're going to go for it. Would be weird to take the eco right now when most of the players can buy around the saved op. Mighty Max looks like he's keeping a bit of money, but that might even be just towards an op then in their next gun round afterwards if things don't go as well as they hope. As you said, Fasher, though, is just so on point. That double kill right there, the double kill he got earlier when he pushed down the ramp to allow them to take a round back immediately after losing one to Endpoint as well. They're very crucial kills, no pun intended.
Oh, crucial on the other side. Let's see what he can get done. A little bit of nade damage early on. FNATIC are holding on to these smokes a little bit more, but again, the utilities come out immediately. Did I say utilities? Molotovs. Words.
Same thing.
Same thing. I mean, it's like all apples are fruit, but not all fruit are apples. Crims says all frags are frags, and he's been erased. Nice pick from Crucial.
Yeah. Potential upgrade for Mighty Max as well if they can get to it, or if they want to. Bomb, of course, for now favored outside B. Maybe expecting Fasher's aggression down the ramp again. It has happened a couple times, especially late in the round.
The spot. Multiple times, and that does sort of give the tip off that this might be a B play. Spotting Kirby, they're keeping the 3 here. They know the ops in Kirby's hands. Sorry, in Nikodaz's hands, because Kirby is dead. Apparently, words are hard this round for me, Dean.
Yeah, sometimes I get a little mixed up on the kill feed as well. You're focused on one person, they die maybe, and their name was just in your mind. That happens. Mighty Max, though, doesn't quite catch the time in there. Second maybe earlier, and Ride likely would have been his, although Nikodaz is not going to have the same success elsewhere. Taking down, leaving A now a bit weak. Mezzi's going to tuck in at the back. He's had his moments so far this game, but this is going to be a big ask of him right now, hoping to do something about that bomb plant, but no. It's Surreal to save the day and make sure that bomb's planted securely, and Nerds cuts off rotations and cuts off heads. As a 4th round is going to be added to the board for Endpoint. It was looking a bit shaky, but they capitalized on that early advantage, managed to close it out, and, well, again, they do manage to put FNATIC on the edge of having their economy destroyed. They have 3 players who can afford 2 who can't. At this score of 8-4, really, they could go either way. Whether they want to force play and keep the pressure on and hope to come out 11-4, or whether they're willing to take 1 eco and aim for the 10-5 half, it really could make the difference.
It calls back to that one round you talked about. Nikodaz getting deeked down, and those little bits of expense add up. This is one of those rounds where saving all those moments ago might have led to a different outcome here. Crims is going on to the 5-7. Mezzi's got the deke, so they're going to play this out. They're going to invest fully. Roy picking up the utility now. They do have the one kit available as well. Roy typically has been playing in towards B, so keep an eye on where that kit is. Might become critical here towards the end. How do they activate him? Crims has played a lot of different looks in towards mid, especially after taking the initial utility damage. So you want to get up in their face this time with the 5-7. Seems like it might be. Oh, is he going to go through? Looking like he's going to go through. He's gone through. He's gone through. They're not going to expect this. There's a gap in the smoke, and Crims has got a freebie as a result. There's the upgrade. Roy found one elsewhere, and Fasha, meanwhile, activated a brilliant flash, but he didn't spot Crucial, but now he's got the kill. It's all over. They take everything. They don't drop a body, Dean, and they're right back in control.
Yeah, I think ramp is Fasher's property at this point. Endpoint need to avoid it, or at the very least have a squad of 4 players ready for his aggression, because 2 has not been enough any time that he's managed to push down. He seems to come away with at least that double frag, and well, it seems like this time around and a few and before as well, manages to get even more from it. He's having a ridiculous performance. I mean, as we said, for FNATIC, there is that ability for really anyone to step up. I mean, as I said, a 0.05 rating difference between their top and bottom rated player. Do need to focus back in the game for a moment, though, with that opening kill from Mezzi, giving Crims some help around mid. And, well, Fasher, as always, pushing down that ramp. I'm surprised they weren't even being cautious of it. It's like, surely not again.
Surely. They're giving so much space over toward there, though.
He's had a leg.
Oh, Ops coming back in. Nico Dolls has got this. Now with that, the window might have been missed. There was an opportunity here, but Nico Dolls has worked in. The cavalry's coming from Donut as well. Nico Dolls can slow. Mighty Mag. Other side of that spawn smoke. And that's not the case. Double digits on deck for FNATIC. Endpoint spending their 3rd timeout. 3 of 4 timeouts have now been used. They'll only have 1 timeout for the entire second half here, Dean. They really want this round.
Yeah, well, it's understandable, because if they weren't to use the pauses now, if they weren't to come out with the potentially 4 they've gotten to now, maybe even 5, then perhaps the pauses wouldn't be too useful to them later. So I think they'll let them away with it. But this 5th round is still quite important. Even with the 5th round, a pistol would be almost necessary to keep the tide of FNATIC at bay heading into that second half. So certainly not going to be easy. Extra weapons there, I believe, being left in the spawn for the oppers to come back and get if they need. Or the opper, I guess one of those is going to be Crims's. Probably that AK.
Utility on in. B-main control has been ceded over towards endpoint. This time Fasher is not going to give them the business early. But it might be Roy instead getting aggressive with his positioning. Dropping the smoke. Has control outside of Jaguar. And his paws do extend here. Oh, Roy. Looks like he wants to get a bit cheeky with this. Gotta be careful though. Kirby's waiting. Crims, meanwhile, has a duel out towards the elbow, so Endpoint are going to let some time whittle on the clock. This is looking more reminiscent of some of their early half rounds. They're being cautious with it. And they are bleeding out that FNATIC utility, but we saw in the early half, this wound up working against Endpoint quite a bit as the seconds got low, and right now they've only really got positioning the pressure in towards B. That's a good flash. Pushes Nerds back. Now they got confirmation that Nerds is there. Meanwhile, Mezzi's working his way up, so Crims is just trying to slow this down, but Nerds has avoided getting pinched. He's in towards Donut, but they might call for the rotation, and Mezzi takes full advantage. Spots the ball, and information gained as well, and now they know they have to go in towards B. They don't have other options. That flashbang, fortunately, Mighty Max tucks away from it, but they've completely lost middle. It's into B or it's nothing. Fasher's dropped with no casualties, but Roy is still here to reinforce. He's the backstop. And he's dropping body after body. They're out of time. They're out of chances. It has to be crucial. He finds one. He needs more, but there is no more to be had. 11-4 as we head to the half. And we're back in it here. A big gulf between these two teams is for Endpoint. A few critical rounds lost to massive individual plays on the other side have majorly cost them here, Dean. And while Endpoint's been a great ancient team before, they had strong T-side scorelines to rely on. This time, not so much.
No, I wouldn't call 4 rounds all that strong. They had a couple moments, I mean, chances where it looked like they were going to take some control, but FNATIC just always had that one individual, in most cases Fasher, who was there to step up, take a double, take a triple kill, or just something absolutely bonkers in order to salvage a round for them that should not have been theirs. And in all the rounds other than those crucial ones, they just managed to take things pretty smoothly. So yeah, they ended up with an 11-4 half, and now Endpoint feeling maybe desperate. They're actually going for a very aggressive pistol round. It's a risky idea for sure, and it hasn't worked out for them against those close range Glocks. Crucial Doom, and he can't pull one back.
Now they spot both. Yeah. They've seen him. They've got this plant. And they've got the fight to try and slow this down. Just need to be careful about the player getting in towards Cave. Do they realize he's gotten around so quick? Now they do. Bomb's planted. Mezzi's got that. It's all under Crucial. And these are crucial kills. First one found. He has to do this. Otherwise, Endpoint's chances in this map just sliver down to just a tiny, tiny little bit. Crucial, he's fighting forward. Doesn't have the kit, though, so needs to get onto that defuse rather quickly and into the corner. He's got... This is going to be so tough. Gets the smoke. Where's the kit? Where's the kit? Where's the kit? Don't think there was one. No, it's all the way back down. He's done. Yeah. No chance. It got dropped in towards mid and Crucial. Maybe a miscomm there about where the kit has gone down, but that eliminates the possibility for him entirely.
He'd save the kit and smoke at least. I mean, that's some sort of positive note, I suppose, to come away with, but there's very few silver linings about the position Endpoint are in right now. As we had said, if they lose a map, if they could, even if their best win case is a 2-1, at that point they'll be relying on the other games to go specific ways for them to have a chance of moving towards the playoffs. Even a 2-0, they'd still need Vitality to be Spirit, of course. But if that's no longer a possibility, then the chances of going forward will really begin to narrow. So Endpoint need to turn things around in this next gun round, or maybe even never. For now, though, just USPs. As we said, a smoke saved over and a kit. Maybe Crucial can go for a bit of a ninja, but I wouldn't expect much else to come of this round.
Mezzi with the dripped out Galil there. And the man with the on and off again check mark. Coming on in. He's been dropped. Maybe should have stayed verified. Crims, though. In some space. Surreal taken out of play. Crims low. Got to be careful about those USPs. Don't want to give up a gun. Don't want to cough up the Galil. Instead, Fasher has made his way out. He spotted the player all the way back in towards spawn. Has a pretty good read that that's probably the only threat, especially as teammates cleared Donut. It's an MP7. It's not exactly so precious that FNATIC can't let them have it. I think we'll just see FNATIC content to leave them with theirs and take what they've got into the next. Unless Roy can make some money. He's got the gold brick. It is the money machine. That's a little bit of cash. Looking for a little more. Mighty Max at the elbow. Next victim. Crims might be instead. Or he's good for it, Dean.
No one's going to come gift them kills, surely, with the MB7. Would be a little bit silly, but maybe. No? Okay, yeah, all good. Not going to take the risk of going into him again, especially with one of the players there on 4 health. Endpoint, though, won't bother hanging onto the MP7, or maybe Kirby will. Looks like he's considering it. There's a few positions on this map where it still can be pretty useful, such as where we just seen it. So definitely still a viable weapon, and he does decide to stick with it. I would say quite risky considering the fact that they're down 13-4. This gun round really is their last opportunity to get into this game, or into this map at the very least. Obviously it is only the first map of the best of 3.
I don't mind it in towards Cave. It can be a pretty nutty position for the MP7, or any of the SMGs, really. But he's quickly on the rotate, and that's going to make it a little bit less effective. In the meantime, Roy already out and in towards A, and the response is B. Taken. They've got it. It's theirs. Roy's in donut. Roy's in donut. They have no idea. Nurse is a dead man. There's nothing he can do about this unless Roy completely fluffs the spray. Will be killed, but that leaves Crims exposed to Surreal. So instead of being a clean kill, it's a trade. That's a blunder. That's the kind of mistake that lets them back into the round, but Nico does quickly brings it back in whack. Dropping down the mid presence, securing A. Roy in towards the back of the site. In the meantime, pushes a little bit further than perhaps they needed to. FNATIC giving back their advantages here, one after another. And Nico does, if he drops, this could be bad. Indeed, it is. It's all in a Mezzi. The wounded king himself. Mezzi. Gonna try and get a bomb plant here in towards A, but he has no idea of Crucial's position. And they're shadow boxing at this point. Mezzi might be able to find the window for a plant. Don't know if Crucial can deny this in time. No, but he should have the cleanup kill. One bullet from that USP would be enough. And Mezzi's now got the info. A chance here. 11 HP. Can't take any contact. And indeed, it will be the USP enough to put him down. That round, Dean, felt like FNATIC outplaying themselves at a lot of moments.
And even with the bomb plant, it's a little short of a buy on a couple players. You think they go for it? I was going to say with the scoreline in Eco, maybe could be worthwhile because they could have got Tech 9s and armor and maybe even still had a shot at taking the round away. But it looks like they're happy enough to just fully buy back into this. Like a little in the Mac 10 alongside the AKs, and obviously with Endpoint only surviving with 2 players, there's a chance that they can break them immediately. And if that was to happen at this point, with only 1900 loss bonus going Endpoint's way, they would be done. They would have basically 0 chances of actually getting a full rifle buyout again, unless they were to pull off a 4th buy of their own. So it's still a very crucial round here, both ways. Neither side perfect in terms of what they have to work with either, but it looks like it's going to be a quicker play from FNATIC straight into B. Mighty Max just about gets the molly down in time. Drops the bomb, and well, with a nice flash onto Mezzi as well, they're going to deal with that quite easily. Helped by Kirby, who eventually will be flanked out by the Mac 10, but that's the only casualty so far. And even with a gap in this smoke, Nico's chances are pretty slim, and he can't even get that initial kill. 3 from Mighty Max, a great holdover towards B. He's had a bit of a quieter game, especially on that T side where he's got to focus on the calling, but we might see him start to thrive a little bit now.
We might do. What a pace change between the two halves, right? FNATIC feel like they're trying to force this, trying to get this issue done with, trying to close the game out, and in doing so, maybe not having the success. So we've seen some pacier plays in the last 2 rounds, some pacier calls, and I don't think it's going to change in this one. They're going full 5, but they do just have the Glocks. So the question is, can they overwhelm Crucial and get a bomb plant out of it? And that's a question we're going to get an answer to now. Mezzi can't. No one's spaced with him, so they're going to be coming on out. There we go. Nico does. All right. Next question is Surreal. That's the bomb dropped into Surreal's crosshair. So he'll be taking the fight. And at this point, Crims going to try and do his damage. Don't think that smoke went where it was supposed to. On this one, could get a little weird. Nice response with the molly, though.
In between the 2 smokes as well. Doesn't hold off long enough to stop the bomb from being taken, rather, but by the time they start putting it down, I think the other smoke might start to fade. So this could be close, but it looks like the money's going to be confirmed at least. So a small victory for FNATIC here in terms of at least ensuring there'll be nothing amiss in this next buy, but let's see what Crims can do. Because he is the only one at this point left standing, and an up in hand, not the weapon he's known for. He's definitely had his moments as well, so we'll see what can be done. He's already being watched on a swing up close. That bomb, I believe, just being stuck, so there's nothing he can do about the defuse. He may hang on to the weapon. It looks like he's not being hunted. So, indeed, Biop at least being carried over. I mean, with a bomb plant, with a little bit of damage, considering what they went into the round with, it's not too bad.
No, I'd say it's phenomenal, honestly. Damage done, bomb planted, minimal money. And an up for Nico here. What more could you want? A little bit of capital to spare. You want round wins? What are we getting greedy here? Double molly will come in from the endpoint side. They spent 3 early on, and Surreal with the aggressive push in towards A main catches a wonderful prize. It's Nico's gone. That op that was saved from the last is already in dash. Can be retrieved, but I don't even know that FNATIC will necessarily want to. Instead, they are going to go into the space. and has been vacated, but a Molotov will cap them, at least for the moment. FNATIC are slowing things way down. And Endpoint are content to let them work it now that they've got the man advantage.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need for Endpoint to be the ones to aggress anymore. Already done that in the early stages. Molly in on Crucial. It will stop him from being able to actively take that fight, unfortunately. So I don't think his teammate's going to want to hang around for too much of a scrap either. Instead, a Molly down, and seems to have forced FNATIC to very quickly make their consideration about where this bomb is going. And we'll be over towards A. Surreal's playing a pretty passive angle, only with the M4, so his hope is catch one kill, keep the advantage. Maybe the same can be done by the player back from Donut there before the bomb goes down and just set up for a retake that they'll likely have a pretty massive advantage into.
One of the
Time is
concerns
beginning
here,
to run down.
the only smoke for FNATIC is on Roy, who's outside of B. So they can't smoke, and taking A without smokes is brutal. So Roy's going to make his move in towards mid, recognizing that he needs to relieve some sort of pressure. That will distract focus. This keeps Crucial pinned in towards the corner, and now the deep utility can come in, and no one's going to be in position. Surreal taking that damage, can't necessarily face. He'll drop a smoke of his own, which is exactly what they were hoping for. Bomb's going down. Don't love the fact that Roy's on the opposite side of the map. If he catches the timing here, that could be huge. And it may be Endpoint already calling in towards a save. A 2v4 now sectioned out completely. Fasher can't give this pick back. But without the positioning, without the information, Endpoint don't feel comfortable going for this, and that will be a round for FNATIC, and it is going to be a 14th at that. Can Roy find anything more? Caribbean might be in trouble here. Roy has just been the angel of death wandering around here, dealing out headshots. And Caribbean may find himself his next victim. If Roy goes forward. Come on, Roy. Check it. Check it. Check it, Roy. Check it.
Been sitting here so long as well, he probably won't think to check. He'd be like, there's something that would show themselves. I don't think he's going to bother budging himself. Keep the 4 weapons standing. There's even up. He didn't want to get it. Crim's already had the other one, I believe. So yeah, he just dropped that over to Nico does. No point carrying the 2 true. He knows Endpoint weren't able to carry it over either. And as you said, he had last timeout. The one they had saved for the second half in case it was necessary. And considering they're down 14-7, I would say it definitely is.
And a reminder as well, this is his Endpoint's map pick. It's arguably the map that served them best so far in this season of Pro League, in this Group A. Overpass does carry some questions in the second, but it should still be a strong map for FNATIC, you'd imagine.
And again, the 2-0 was their most realistic way of moving forward, because we do expect Vitality to be Spirit. They've actually taken that first map as well. On the other hand, for NIP to take the 2-0 over Navi, or the 2-1 as well, it's less likely, but actually looking now, NIP are also winning the first map. So things are going pretty well for Endpoint, other than the fact that they're losing this first map. The other win conditions, basically.
Everything except the most important win condition.
Well, this wouldn't matter if the other things went wrong anyway, do you get me?
Yeah. That's true.
Keeps the hope alive that a 2-1 would be enough. Eddie. Awkward
Everything's
timing.
coming up Endpoint.
That's true, just as they fell back as well.
This is good control for FNATIC early on. We're only 30 seconds into the round. They got all the space. Kier, we'll try some things. Mezzi, we'll try some things back. Little spam exchange. No one connecting. Trading bullets.
The bait a mistake out at his B bomb site, it seems, really, with the amount of utility they're putting down. It's costing them a lot, though, and well, they don't have a lot of presence elsewhere other than the one player outside A. Beginning to actually send the bomb back around, yeah, as you were about to point out. So it seems like they're hoping the op was going to find some success there, and they could maybe probe through cave at the same time, pull rotations, but it's not really working out. No one has budged off of that A bomb site. You still have 2 players in position. And a bit of utility as well, I do believe, to actually try and hold things off. Not very much, actually, just flashes. Sorry, I thought they had a molly, but that's on Kirby back on B, and he's even put that down.
Flashes could be enough. It's going to be major pressure onto Crucial. He's in such a tough spot. Nerds has to relieve it, and they're good. What a combination there. Important kills. One of them gets missed, and the other is so exposed, but Mezzi, even thinking about one more poke, but it's not going to happen. So what a round for Endpoint to keep 5 alive at that. critical moment. The pause clearly well spent because they needed it.
And a nice sign of life, as you said. If Nertz goes down, especially on if he doesn't get that first kill at that point, the op in the back lines has no chance to really do anything. He swings, he has multiple players looking at him, and the site would have been overrun. So each one of those kills was just as crucial as the other. And well, let's see if they can keep on building off the back of it now, because that was the main issue with the first half, really, wasn't it? They were able to get some rounds alone, some soul rounds. It was chaining them together and managing to actually build something from it that really was eluding them. Is he going to be boosted up above the smoke? He's not going to get vision at anyone. They've just about fallen back off, and again, giving up this mid control, as they done in the previous round as well. Show the initial presence, fall back away. FNATIC at that point will still have at least the thought process that there could be someone pushed up on mid. So without actually putting manpower there, you're still keeping FNATIC a little bit preoccupied.
Three players are here towards B. Yeah, this seemed to be the read. 45 seconds just now. FNATIC is trying to get activated. They've got the wrap spots. It's not bad. You can see Nertz is still wary that someone could be coming from mid. But it hasn't happened yet. So these three players are going to be very focused in to defend. Who gets first contact? That might be the first domino to fall. Mezzi takes it. Nertz out of play. There's the trade on Mighty Max. Do they expect KRB in here? They should. He's been here all half long. He'll take one, but that's it. That's all she wrote. And now an advantage for FNATIC. The time doesn't matter. They will get this bomb down. And Roy's already in position to potentially punish this rotate. He's got one spots a second. Surreal in a hopeless position. The walls coming caving down upon him. It'll be Nikodaz to pull that last brick.
Yeah, there was just... It's later on in the round. As soon as they lose that player to the spam, they're screwed as well. Mighty Max was forced to take the fight in towards ramp. Kirby was still tucked in at that point. Maybe if he swung with Mighty Max so that they could have pushed in and taken the ramp control, or at least tried to. Even then, that wouldn't have been easy with the three players moving up. But basically, instead, Kirby gets the one kill, of course, as they're coming forward. He gets the trade for Mighty Max. And then at that point, there's players coming out of cave who are splitting them on the pillar. So there's just no way you can get away with anything else at all, which is too many angles to deal with. So it's unfortunate their defense kind of just crumbled, and we'll see if they have any life left in them at all. Now it's going to need to be a very difficult fight just to try and get it back to an overtime. I'm not loving their chances, especially with already this opening kill from Nikodaz coming through. Mentioned that initial mid-aggression, and a very passive hold outside of A as well leaves, well, Surreal maybe feeling a bit too comfortable as he stepped forward.
All this aggression tempered, and now they're coming back into positions, but Mezzi, speaking of aggression, will get caught slipping. Even Donut, a little exposed, maybe thinking they'd still be concentrated in towards that mid fight. He did make a read. Still a disadvantage for FNATIC. Even having lost Mezzi, now he can be that eye in the sky, that man manipulating. A puppet master is Mezzi in this moment. Let's see if his marionettes dancing on strings are enough. Bring this one to a close. Mighty Max wants to try and take the initiative here. He's tight on towards the ramp. Gets caught by Fasher. Fasher says, that's my move. You can't do it. I copyrighted it in the first half. Now it's time to get the bomb on down and end this game.
Yeah, it looks pretty much confirmed. Only one shot potentially from Nikodaz could do so for sure. And as we said, Endpoint now are going to be in trouble. They'll have to try and work their way back in through Overpass and Vertigo, which is not going to be an easy task by any means. This was their map choice. This is where we've seen them have most of their success so far here as well. It's been in terms of maps that they play on where they have some commanding victories. This is those. Elsewhere they tend to be more of a grindy team, and they can get the job done, sure, but it's never usually as convincing as can possibly be. Instead, now they're the ones with a convincing loss here on Ancient. And
yeah, it's really troubling.
Said,
their map pick, the map they had the plan on, the map they've had success on, they get read a little bit harder by FNATIC. I loved a lot of the things that FNATIC were doing in that first half, waiting or getting really aggressive in towards the map positioning, taking that control, shifting up their pace towards the end as well. It did feel like they countered Endpoint at some big moments with individual plays, but the big picture stuff was there as well, and it feels like they're developing what they want to do over there on Ancient. We are going to be headed to the next, though, Dean, and that's something I'm very curious about. what this overpass is going to look like. For Endpoint, it's last chance saloon. It's desperation station. Are they going to get something going here, or are we going to see them falter in the big moment and the chance they have to at least give themselves a possibility of the playoffs here in Pro League?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, it's still alive. Having a look at the other games, they're all going on to second maps with the teams that Endpoint need to win, taking their victories, but that won't matter, of course, unless Endpoint can manage to turn things around here. We're going to send it over to a little bit of a break, guys. When we return, we'll find out if Endpoint have got it in them or not.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
Oh, I thought we were done.
Here we go. Okay. We do have one more map. We do have at least, possibly two. We are headed to Overpass next in to this one. But yeah, I mean, just to give a